Hello everyone, my name is Clara Raggio. I'm a T1 from PPCR course, and today I will be talking about multicenter trials. A multicenter trial can be defined as a type of clinical trial conducted in more than one center, following the same protocol, methodology, and data analysis. It may be undertaken for most types of study designs, such as observational, clinical trials, or quasi-experimental. So, in simpler terms, a multi-center trial is nothing more than a single center trial, which is done at the same time in different centers according to a common protocol, methodology, and data analysis. However, there are several design, implementation, analysis, and regulatory aspects which need attention, and we will go deeper in the presentation. Why are multi-center trials important? Because they are useful to overcome the following issues associated with single center studies. First of all, the lack of generalizability and external validity, because they allow a diverse population coverage. And second, the delays in participant recruitment, which leads to increased funding, as in most cases, a multi-center trial can allow and achieve a quicker recruitment. And also, multi-center trials are able to address a research question in a reasonable time period. What's the difference between multi-center and multi-institutional research? These concepts are sometimes used as synonyms, but there are slight differences between them. On the one hand, in multi-center research, the sites collect same or similar data with a common objective and protocol. While in multi-institutional research, investigators from multiple institutions participate, which may be conducted at single or multiple sites. Multi-center trials can be classified by conduct or design. Regarding conduct, we have centrally designed and coordinated studies in which the study sites are selected through headhunting or peer referral, and investigators are variably involved in the decision making. We have researchers consortium in which researchers collaborate and jointly design the study. We have hybrid modalities in which the study adopts variable combinations of centrally designed and consortium agreements. Or investigators can contribute to a common database, but may not collaborate and follow a uniform protocol. And when it comes to design, we have uniform multi-center trials in which the same research questions and protocol are pursued across all sites, or combined multi-center trials in which multiple research questions and different sites focus on different research questions. So the sites pursuing the same research question follow a uniform protocol. When it comes to the advantages and disadvantages of multi-center trials, we have different aspects. When it comes to methodology, as I mentioned before, multi-center trials allow a greater population diversity, but it may be a complex study design. Regarding collaboration and network, a diverse technical expertise is available and collaborative decision-making is possible, but it may be challenging to coordinate with multiple investigators, institutions, and processes. Related to its implementation, multiple sites can carry out simultaneously the study, but on the other hand, we need stringent quality measures to ensure protocol adherence and uniformity, and logistic challenges may appear related to manpower, training, supplies, data and sample transfer, finances, etc. And related to its validity, multi-center trials have higher external validity and generalizability, and the chance of personal biases is lower. But on the other hand, its internal validity might be jeopardized due to heterogeneity in participants and practices. Regarding sample size, multi-center trials allow a quicker recruitment, which leads to a larger sample size in a shorter time period, and this could increase the sample's diversity. But, however, if unequal recruitment across the sites occurs, this leads to a reduction in the study's power. And regarding data management and analysis, there is a lower chance of data manipulation and phishing, and direct comparisons across sites and variations is possible. But on the other hand, data management challenges occur, and statistical analysis requires additional attention, as I will mention later on. And finally, regarding costs, due to all the advantages that I've mentioned before, it could be multi-center trials could be seen as a cost-effective alternative. But if there is redundant staffing and resources at low recruiting sites, the costs may be increased. So some cost-cutting measures include choosing a geographic area centrally positioned as a midpoint for all collaborating centers, which could reduce travel and time costs. So when it comes to designing, planning, and implementing multi-center trials, different phases could be described. I will describe each of them in detail further on. So first of all, the research question must be formulated. This research question will dictate future decisions on the design of the study. So as we've seen in the lecture of research question, the investigators will address the key components with the PICOT framework and keeping in mind the finer acronym as described in the slide, and clinical, social, geographical factors and funder interests must also be taken into account. And additionally, investigators might consider at this stage carrying out a pilot study to check for the feasibility and or improve the research design before starting the official multi-center trial. So once the hypothesis is established, the first stage, planning and development, begins. In this period, sites and investigators are selected. So different strategies can be used, such as convenient headhunting, peer referral, snowballing, etc. The research teams are assembled. Additional collaborative centers may be recruited, depending on the complexity, the size, and geography of the study. We will later on see that there are different models of network coordination. The standard operating procedures, the SOPs, should be established in order to ensure uniformity and facilitate consistency among investigators in the protocol implementation and data collection across study sites. The database is built and the statistical analysis plan is agreed by the investigators. Data transmission is planned in order to ensure timeliness. Nowadays, electronic methods are mostly used. And as we saw in the lecture on integrity in research, authorship and credit sharing must be decided in advance to avoid misunderstanding and conflicts. Once the IRB approvals at each institution are obtained, the second stage, startup, begins. So here, investigators and research teams are trained to ensure uniformity. This can be performed using different modalities, and it should take place both at the beginning and periodically at intervals during the clinical trial. Additionally, the first committee meetings are held and study enrollment opens. And the third stage, enrollment and retention, the clinical trial officially begins. Therefore, study participant screening and enrollment are ongoing. During this phase, participant anonymity, confidentiality, and safety are vital. Protocol adherence, correct and timely data collection should be monitored continuously and systematically in order to ensure quality. Periodical team meetings should be organized, either in person or virtually, to keep the investigators and research teams motivated. And as I mentioned in stage 2, research team training should be ongoing to guarantee uniformity. And the fourth stage of closeout, participant enrollment is complete, data quality is confirmed, database is locked, and participating centers are closed out. And in the fifth and final stage, data analysis and dissemination, data is analyzed, statistical outcomes are defined, and manuscripts are prepared for publication and dissemination of study results. And of course, authorship could be revised if there were changes in participation during the trial. These are, once again, the 5 stages that I've described previously. And something that I wanted to highlight is that during the whole duration of the clinical trial, transparent and honest communication are essential to maintain the network's interest and confidence. There are basically 3 models of network coordination. So the first model to the left, we have all the study sites that are coordinated by the Central Coordination Center, which may or may not be a study site itself. Then the second model, which is called the regional cluster model, we have a few study sites that are governed by the Regional Coordination Center according to geography or logistic purposes. And then the Central Coordination Center governs these regional coordination centers when it comes to study implementation. And then the third model to the right, which is called the domain cluster model, we have the study sites that are coordinated by the domain cluster model and coordination centers based on the activities these study sites undertake. And then these domain coordination centers are coordinated by the Central Coordination Center. And of course, there are special issues associated to multi-center trials. First of all, ethics. The study protocol must be approved by the institutional ethics committees of all participating institutions. So this could take a very long time. So in order to overcome this problem, common ethics review processes could be implemented. And nowadays, we have the smart RBs, which are platforms that allow flexibility in the size and scope of collaboration to enable RB reliance for multi-site studies. Then, of course, we have data ownership and sharing, which must follow the ICMR ethical guidelines, as in any clinical trial. Then we have statistical aspects, because of course, imbalances in enrollment across sites may challenge the power and sensitivity of the results. So the standard formulas we use by default to calculate the sample size consider balanced enrollment across sites, but don't account for the number of sites and recruitment variations. So to overcome this problem, both unweighted and weighted methods of analysis should be applied based on the presence of treatment by center interaction. And finally, international partnerships imply that explicit agreements on the technical credits and authorship must be discussed and agreed upon in advance. So finally, multi-center trials have direct and indirect benefits. When it comes to direct advantages, these can recruit a larger number of participants quickly, which results in a higher external validity and generalizability of the results, and they're able to document population and subpopulation diversity. And indirectly, of course, multi-center trials allow higher funding appeal, networking, and academic and peer recognition opportunities. However, initiating a multi-center trial isn't easy, and if heterogeneity in recruitment, rigor in implementation, and/or contextual factors are ignored, the power and generalizability of the study could be jeopardized. Therefore, for a multi-center trial to be successfully implemented, we need systematic site selection, rigorous study protocols, stringent quality assurance measures, transparent and effective communication, and consider the potential challenges during the design phase and not as an afterthought. So in this way, we can ensure that the study has a high internal validity and the intersite variability is minimized. These are the references I used to complete my slides. And as a final reflection for every long-term project in your career, keep calm and plan ahead. Thank you for your attention.